Welcome, everybody, to the Final Refrain Alliance Finals. We've been here for 4 weeks, and this is the final game coming up. And as you can see, we have a very, very, very special guest. It's Jeremy Culver from GG. Jeremy, we're so happy that you made time for your personal schedule even to join us here. So, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Obviously, very good that it lined up that I was on
Yeah.
vacation today that I could make this happen. And so, hello everybody. I've been obviously following this along, and so I'm as excited as you guys to see who's going to be the winner of the Alliance Final Refrain. So of course we don't have to wait too much longer to find that out.
No, the game will be starting soon, and before that happens, we will obviously do some little bit of a preview. There are some other things going on beside just the finals, so let's just dive into it. This is the bracket. We started with 32 of the best players in the alliance scene, and you see that a lot of big names have been crossed out, and we're only with two people that remain: Random Joe and Damat. And Damat did fairly well last time at Keyforge Worlds, didn't he, Jeremy?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just crowned, the world champion. That's
Oh,
not no
okay.
big
Yeah.
feat or
No,
anything
no,
like that.
no biggie, no biggie, no biggie. Yeah. So, what is at stake now? Um, Actually, quite something because the runner-up will walk away with a Amber Skies sealed display, and the winner will get a single ticket for the Final Refrain Airlines to a GG Alliance event. Um, so an anonymous donor was kind enough to sponsor this, and we're so happy that this happened. And I don't know, you probably heard this, but what do you think, Jeremy? Isn't that insane that someone from the community takes this on and makes that happen?
Oh yeah, it's a testament to the love that the Keyforge community has for not just this game, but essentially one another. And so to be able to do something like this is a fantastic thing. And as you guys had talked about before, the point there is again, it is to any GG Alliance event.
Yeah,
So of course it can be, to any of the various Vault tours or even to Keyforge Celebration coming up in
could
November,
be.
where
Yeah.
you'll get to see my lovely face in person.
Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that? So, just a quick run on how did they get here. Random Joe was qualified here because of the Las Vegas Voltour Alliance champion and also Seattle 2023 Alliance runner-up. And he had to get past some of these names are also quite well known. SC Steel, one of the biggest Alliance protagonists, I guess. And Harmed, as I know very well, Snack and Ellie Max, so a good mix of European and North American opponents. And we were a fan of crossing out names here, so.
That's a censorship. I don't know about it crossing out.
And we'll get to some of those markups of those decks. And Damat, Keyforge Premier League Season 1 runner-up, Keyforge Premier League Season 2 top 4, and the world champion in this format. Had to get past Donkey Forge, Chimera, JDG, Palma Doce, a very nice mix of players here as well. What do you think about that? The spread in nationalities and continents that we have here.
Yeah, I know that was something that, of course, you all have been really cognizant of course, in the Final Refrain for Archon as well as here in the Alliance. And of course, it's great to see the representation across the world of fans that really love, of course, Keyforge, and not just love it to the point of playing in their own, LGS, their local stores, but to be able to come in here and play in this tournament. So yeah, it's amazing to see, as you have here, the widespread of
Yeah,
countries being represented. And of course, we're down to two here in
indeed.
Italy and North America, or United States, I should say. So we'll see, of course, which one is going to be out on top here.
Yeah, indeed. And I see Sydney Steele is spamming in the chat, and my Nightbot blocked her. I'm sorry, I have not had time to fine tune it. So Sydney should be free to spam whatever she wants here.
It's the
So
excitement from Sydney. We know it.
yeah,
We
we
know it
know it.
very well.
We know very well. So, like you said, we've got the United States versus Europe, um, Italy versus Random Joe as a representative of the United States. You see some of these stats here going into the finals. Everybody seemed to think that key cheats is the way to go in Alliance, but they both have not cheated a single key in this um, event.
Yeah.
It's more about the Random Joe's oppressiveness and actually also the mafioso that locks you out up. Also being both very oppressive decks. Um, I think that the deck on the right is a familiar makeup because this was what the mod was running on Worlds.
Hmm.
Random Joe's deck is now possible due to the updated restricted list. What do you think about Random Joe's deck here, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean it's very strong. As you had said, something I was going to comment on as well is the fact that neither of these decks have key cheats. Neither of them have, of course, been able to do a key cheat. So this is all about trying to lock your opponent down and just burst out in front. And of course, when you see with Random Joe's deck having the multiple control of the weeks there, the 4 control of the weeks, that's going to, of course, make it to where it's really difficult to decide how you want to play because Random Joe is going to have those ways of being like, okay, this is what you've utilized to this point. I want to force you into a bad hand or a bad turn. And any time a bad turn comes up in Alliance, it can really spell disaster because it's all about you formulating your deck to what
Yeah,
you want to do.
yeah, and indeed, and the mod relies heavily on Retro Technician Lee's bringing back his Brio and Kaups.
Hmm.
Um, but it's not the only thing that the mod can do. We've seen him face 2 Quixelstone decks where he was not able to play any creatures at all, basically, and still got out on top. So, looking a bit more at Random Joe's deck as a whole, there's the Neutron Shark, which could be a key here to destroy the Brio and the Cow without spending any actions to do so, and a lot of steel in shadows, which in the previous games that the mod was not able to play his lockout, he relied heavily on stealing himself and generating amber, but that will not work against Random Joe because his steel is just way better. And then on the mod side, there is a spontaneous awakening, which could maybe take a life ward, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's too relevant in this situation. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a very interesting matchup here. I don't have a favorite, and I am going to look at these predictions here, as some people notice that the community has a slight favorite in the mod. So the 2 guys that should be added together should be 21 votes for Demott, winning it 2-1, 12 for Random Joe, 2-1, and then 6 people think it will be 2-0 or 0-2 for either Demott or Random Joe. And we have the top rankings here. So there's also stuff to be won here. An Amber Skies sealed display. Mandracore on top, going the same way as Harmed. Vargas also going for Random Joe. Easy Galena going for Damat, and Grishhammer for Random Joe. So it looks like there could be, if Random Joe takes it 2-0, then it looks like Grishhammer will take the cake. And if it's 2-1 to Random Joe, then Vargas will go along. Otherwise, the rankings will pretty much stay as they are, I think. And then Mandracore will take it. So Mandracore's hoping for a Damat win here. So, we've been waiting long enough. I say, let the games begin. Let's see if the game is there. They probably created it some time ago, and they're anxiously waiting for us to start the game. So, here we are. Um, are you ready, Jeremy?
I am ready. I'm ready to see who we are going to crown as the Final Refrain Alliance champion. I know the chat's ready for it too. So let's get to
Yes.
it.
Don't forget the color. You're right, Snoopy. The color of subordination is a very key card that can steal the Brio or the Calp. I've seen some testing some nasty plays with color and what do you call Dance of Doom. So you take the Brio, you kill all the 2 power level creatures. It's nasty. I'll give the players the go ahead, and then yeah, let's go into this game. Let's see if the names are on the right side, and they are. And let me make this a little bit more so we can see everything. There we go. That should be good. Moving that up a little bit. Okay. It looks like Random Joe won the flip and is going first. And will they mulligan? Yes or no?
Yeah, that's always something I find interesting with Alliance. Of course, in Archon, you want to do the same thing, but again, the important aspect of Alliance again is starting with your driver right away, moving things along. So the opening hand becomes very important for some decks, not always, but when you're at the finals table, I'm curious to
Yeah,
see how important the mulligan will come through for them.
indeed it is. And as some people are very good at spelling mistakes, Snoopy, I will fix them right away. Thank you so much. So yeah, at the finals table, there's a lot to play for here. So they are really considering their mulligans here. And it seems that neither of them do. Random Joe starting over the Control the Week into Star Alliance. That is probably not the house you want to be going in as Damat, and he doesn't even have anything and passes the turn back.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a rough one, especially because for Demont, he wants to get haunted before he uses Star Alliance there. So
yeah,
having to do it turn one, immediately, Random Joe knew he was going to have some advantage off that.
yeah.
So good call from Random Joe there, and just unfortunate for Demont to have that hit right away.
And they are playing really fast. I said, please slow down a little bit so we can commentate, but that's fine. They're at the final tables. A lot of Ember gain here from Random Joe in the shadows. Whereas on the opposite side, the Island of Misfit Toys is down. A Webster as well. And some discards here with 2 in here somewheres. So next turn, if there's no Shark, because I think that's the only R. So Damat will be. So putting a creature down would be bad, right? Because Webster could fight into it and can discard
Mhm.
more. There's not a lot of creatures even in Random Joe's deck. But
Yeah.
it's a scary, not so scary if there's no boo in hand. But if there is a boo in hand, there's looking like a big Geistoy turn next turn there.
Yeah, and going back to what we said earlier, is it looked like Demont did have both rogue operations that he had in that first Star Alliance turn, but just had to discard them because there was nothing to steal, so there was no use out of that.
Indeed.
So of course, at least Demont was able to get some stuff out of hand to draw into his second turn. But again, going back to that, that was a good call from Random Joe. And to your point, Random Joe 5 Amber already, Demont at 3. It was very quickly. This is something that we've seen with Random Joe's decks in the past. As you said, this is a modified from what he's played previously because of the update to
Yeah.
the restricted list. But a lot of his cards are cards that are going to be actions, trying to continue to be utilized, get the Amber Pips, really generate things while also holding you or his opponent from wanting to play the things they're looking for.
Indeed, indeed. And I have some nice stats here from the Amber sources that you see. All the Ambers coming from icons here, not from Steel for Random Joe. Um, so that's interesting to see. Um, and as the mod is considering what to do, here. Meanwhile, we've seen already a check from a wild wormhole into Charette and a scrambler storm. So no actions for Damat. That looks like a quick key one for Random Joe.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is if Demont is able to go into Geistoid, bring out
Yeah,
Albi Astray and capture uh to get down, but I don't even know if that's going to be enough with Random Joe sitting at 7 right now
no, it will
to
not be.
take him
No,
away.
yeah. Scrambler, but might be worth popping Island and just holding it for a turn. It could be. It could be because you might lose it a turn afterwards. So Damod goes into Cow with a draw, and that's it. It's protected by the Webster. So saying, okay, you can take key one. I just need to slow you down. And that's what he's doing at the moment. So the Cow is very annoying. On board, can't deal with it. There are a lot of actions in Shadows that could take care of it, but one of them is here, the other one is there. 3 of them are here. We do have still the second Poison Wave, Relentless Whispers 2 times, so there's still a lot of tools there to get rid of the Kaup.
Yeah, so as you said, Random Joe forged that first key. So now with the one key advantage, and as Demont not able to generate any amber during that turn, just putting the cop down to slow Random Joe down, or in hopes to slow him down. So we'll see how Random Joe decides to answer off of this. Knowing as you'd pointed out, he's used a lot of shadows at this point. Maybe he goes into dis and tries to destroy some things that way off the field, but um, looks like Joe's taking his time while he thinks about this.
Yeah, and in the previous game when he was playing against Harmed, it was a similar matchup, and then he was able to chain Disruption continuously and not allowing Harm to get a foot down on the brakes with the Cowps or the Bryos. It looks like Damod has a bigger window, and will Joe be able to play more Disruption? The Life Ward is 1 turn slower, so probably controlled weak would be ideal here, I would think.
So
Oh,
he did go into dis as I had thought, and uses the collar to take Kalp onto his side. Goes with the mind barb right after that.
oh, that's a big turn.
And
That's
that's a really big turn.
that's a big turn. So the Calm
And
Officer Pelic was discarded. It's not too bad, but the 3 fates, yeah, bringing all other creatures down. So Starline. So Retro Technician Lee is ready. If he has 2, he can fight 1 and bring back the others. It doesn't look like he has them.
he had the first one to just get Kalp off the field using a
Yeah.
survey.
Oh,
Just took a couple of amber off of that to get some from Random Joe, but ends his turn at 5 amber, so not able to threaten his first
no.
key.
And we see the bait and switch, Poison Wave, and Relentless Whispers coming down mercilessly, going back to check again. Um, you would think that there would be a big turn coming up now with the Island of Misfit Toys there, and with Boo pretty much taking his whole Geistoid in hand.
Yeah.
So what would you do here in this situation?
So it looks like he did what I figured he would do is he has everything in discard pile and in hand. So you put down the Grim Reaper, reaped with it to try to purge, kind of get things going. I would assume we're going to be seeing that Island of Misfit Toys get utilized, as you said. Um, and then from there, kind of, I'm not quite sure which route he will want to go.
I think you would
He
probably
uses the
want to put the Brio down and the Webster and the LB Stray, and then archive some star lines. I would say, but
So he immediately uses the island to get everything back from Geistoid into hand, of course. Now this is where as you had talked about, where is the path that he's going to take to go from there?
yeah. You don't want to play Spontaneous Awakening first because then your Biergeist doesn't hit because you're going to flip your deck. So gotta be aware of that. Um,
Yeah.
I think Biergeist on Brio and then putting two creatures to the left on it and archiving your Starlines might be setting you up for success. After we do, there's a lot of actions in Random Joe's deck, so maybe he's able to action, get rid of the Brio, and then control the weak, or because there's still three control the weaks in the deck.
Yeah, so he ended up using Phantasmal Visit just to get the Amber Pip and archive it. So then he knows that he has that for a future turn. Makes
Yeah,
sense there. There's no creatures to stun or exhaust off of it. And then again, it comes down to the order that he wants to play off of this, because will be,
yeah.
if he flips his deck for what any reason, then that's where his plan could get really
You
thrown off.
you could get quite some knowledge with Boo on the opponent's deck
Goes
as
with
well.
Charette there, so he can capture
Okay.
and get Random Joe off of second key.
I think it's a smart thing to do because you want to buy yourself time. Um, so that to me sounds like a valid path to take. So does archive Rogue Operation within here somewhere? The first one. Um, there is two of them. What will he do with the second one? Yeah, he needs
They
the cow block soon or it's over. Snoopy, yeah, I tend to agree. It's just so scary, those control the weaks. I think I would like knowledge of my opponent's deck here. Oh, Winds of Death.
and
Interesting.
and that kind of makes sense actually, because now he gets his retro technicians in the archive. He's going to have the Briozark easily available. If Random Joe tries to lock him into something in particular with the control of the week, then he has some answers potentially in hand.
So
But
I see two control the weaks after being booed on the opponent. So that means that either there's two more in the draw, or one in hand, or two in hand, or a mix of any of those. So that is quite scary. But the Winds of Death gives Demod options in all three houses. Um, so that's a nice play there. Unfortunately, probably not able to get rid of that Amber there um, with the LB Stray. Flips his deck, if I'm correct, with the Spontaneous Awakening, and plays another Boo, and then ends the turn with 14 Amber. Random Joe now looking to get to 6 Amber, I would say. And which house would you. Can you do that in this? And which house is the least likely to have Amber control?
yeah, this is a
Yeah, must be unfathomable, I guess. I'm not sure who's favored at the moment. It could still, if you can just, yeah, but if
yeah.
you control
It's
the weekend to unfathomable,
just trying to see, like you said, could he burst up to 6 in dis and force uh Demont into a house that would slow him down, and I'm not seeing that he
hypothetically,
has enough in
no.
hand.
Two control the weeks and a live ward would be three. You need 6 Amber pips, um,
Yeah,
which definitely is not. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 discards in the discard. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, there's not enough Amber pips there. Shadows wise, we see one, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 cards. There's not a lot of steel there either. You control the weak 2 times into Geistoid. Yeah, could be. Could be. So control the weak, finding your second life ward maybe. And then preventing creatures from being played. That's not easy. That's not an easy choice.
Yeah, this is a. It's not a turn that is vital at this point because of Random Joe's lead, but of course the longer that this goes on, the more that Demott can end up getting his deck wants to do down, and then
Yeah,
that's where it starts to become
I
scary.
I think you need to disrupt now. Otherwise, you're gonna be facing Bryo and Kaup at the same time, and
Exactly.
maybe two Kaups even. And if you do not have creatures on the board for your shark, or if the shark is in the discard,
Yeah.
you need to disrupt now and being able to push Amber right afterwards. So it might not look like now is the time to act, but I think for sure you need to, and I think guys, so it might be the right call here, because the inner somewheres did archive rogue up
It archived
rogue
two
up,
rogue
yeah,
operations,
two
and then
rogue
the other
ups,
one, um, I don't
maybe.
remember what was the second
Hmm,
one.
maybe it was just discarding, or hmm.
So there's the first archives of in here somewhere.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for the second one. Where's the dust imp? You're right, Snoopy. The dust imp might still be in the draw. Um, in here somewhere and three rogue ups. That's what was archived. Okay. Ah, here. In here somewhere and rogue up. Too many in here somewhere text to find all of it. Yeah. Okay, and where the play is continuing. So,
And he goes into logos.
and a Skippy. So Skippy is actually quite interrupting because Retro Technician League cannot do anything. However, if you go Unfathomable now, um, that might still be very, very, very dangerous for Random Joe to be dealing with. Yeah, so it does go Unfathomable and is going to put down all his creatures, like five or six of them.
Yeah, it
Um,
completely makes sense.
yeah.
With picking up all the archives, you now have what you're looking for in hand.
The Tendrils from Beyond, pushing it back to hand. I am feeling like this is going to be a game for game one for Demott at this point. There is really no way to get this off the board. The Kaup is hidden and protected by the Webster. There is no there's no creatures that can be ready. You can play one action only. The action will be nullified and it will just kill something. Next turn, reap out with Unfathomable. Skippy back to hand does. Yeah, maybe the Tendrils from Beyond probably should have hit the creature on the side. You're right. It does buy a turn. Um, because the Tendrils from Beyond is each creature and its neighbor's the house, right? Yeah. Okay, but maybe the placement of the Skippy was strategically in the middle. I didn't see that. That probably was. Um, yeah. Look at this board.
Yeah, that is a daunting board to stare at if you're Random Joe.
What are the potential outs? Skippy could buy you one turn, right? Um, but then what? So plays Wild Hormel to kill one creature. Skippy, so no creatures can be used. But Damat realistically just needs to push for Amber here, which I think in Star Lines he can do. We'll definitely steal the two that Random Joe has. Is there anything more? The surveys, if they're potentially back, which they probably aren't. It's just probably all creatures in hand. So chooses Geistoid. There's a in here somewhere to be archiving stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
Zero cards in deck for Rogue Ups. You're right. I did not see the draw pile. You're completely correct. So goes for Boo, Phantasmal Visit, in here somewhere, generating 3 Amber. Archiving in here somewhere and Spontaneous Awakening. So planning to maybe go back. Discards Winds of Death. Well, that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, definitely does not want to use the Winds of Death at this point.
No. BR Geist, maybe on Shark to get it on your own board and not letting it flip. But Yeah,
Nope, ends up going with Charette.
it's also solid. Ends the turn, passes over to Random Joe, and passes a turn, and that's game one to Damat. Um, I copied the logs, Snoopy. I got him. So yeah, GG, well played. We're ready when you guys are. Let me
Yeah, that
update.
was a great game there. Of course, we saw Random Joe jump out to that huge lead, and of course, this is we were having a brief discussion before, but this is why I always call Keyforge a marathon, because it doesn't matter if you have a big lead at the beginning. If you can slowly crawl your way back, you pace yourself and you set your times,
Yeah.
you can come back to win, and that's what we just saw Demont do.
Yeah, and it was just in the nick of time that the mod found his disruption from his own. So we'll probably see a similar development in the game here. And Random Joe is hoping that it will go his way this time. Who chose to go first? Random Joe chose to go second. I think that makes sense because he wants to pump Amber as fast as possible. And the mod goes first with the Grim Reaper just putting a body down to potentially purge something if he needs to. Maybe a dust-in purging would be nice. Atzabat says, I'm torn with this one. I want to root for the European. The man's a great guy, but I don't want to root for Brio Cub.
Yeah, some alliance decks can just feel real rough to be rooting on the side for, but of course, makes sense
Yeah.
to see those in Europe continue to support one another, and of course, can Demont claim another title
Oh,
on
yeah,
his
that would be
badge?
crazy. So, meanwhile, Random Joe did some shadow stuff. Archived something from Hidden Stash. I wonder what that would be. And the mod put some creatures down. Not the lightning starts we saw game one.
No, not at all.
Did they mulligan, by the way? I did not see that. I don't think they
I
mulliganed.
did not see a mulligan come through,
No.
so I think they've just been playing straight up with what they got.
Yeah. So you have the Echo Guardian, the Squall Master, and Wicolia here. So there is potential to reap. There is still a lot of potential for Random Joe to do damage and steal if there was any Ember in Shadows. So it does play Poison Wave. Another Relentless Whispers. He must be so sad that there's no Ember for Demont yet. So far played 6 Shadows cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5 Shadows cards. 5 Ember again. No check.
All right, and Demont going into a Geistoid turn here, using in here somewhere, just trying to get to the haunted status makes sense. And as you just showed, Briar's Arc now in the discard pile. One of the Retro Technician Lees in there as well. And then uses the Phantasmal Visit to stun and exhaust Echo Guardian.
Yeah, so I would assume he's not planning to go back into Unfathomable soon and just wants to get, okay, Winds of Death. There you go. So we see there was a Brio in there,
A
Retro
Brio and a
Technician
Retro
Lee,
Technician Lee, for
and a
sure.
Grim Reaper. So those 4 creatures are there. 8 in the discard. Not haunted yet. I do feel like this game is a bit slower for Damat as well, which might give Random Joe the opportunity to start sequencing Disruption, because I've only seen Shadow so far. So here comes the Dis. A Life Ward and a Control the Weak this turn must be big.
There's Control of the Weak, forces him into Geistoid,
Oh,
and
and
there's the Life Ward
wow.
down.
So Geistoid, he saw just go die Geistoid. There is a Grim Reaper here, but not haunted. A Life Ward as well. Spontaneous Awakening only works if your opponent is haunted, if I'm not mistaken. So this is quite threatening from a Random Joe. It might be a quick 2 keys here if he can find another disruptive turn. Only plays Webster.
Yeah, and
Ouch.
to answer your question, Tom, the spontaneous awakening is if your opponent is haunted. So with Random Joe only having 7 cards in discard,
Right.
spontaneous awakening couldn't be used yet.
Exactly. Okay. Only playing Webster is very painful. So key one to Random Joe. If you have another control a week here and maybe drew into another discard, that would be looking very, very juicy. Um, and the life ward might be a critical artifact here as well. Because it would definitely prevent one turn of Bryo Cow blocking you when you want it. The question is, how long do you dare to hold on to the life ward and not pop it?
Yeah, well, especially at this point, we know Bryo is still sitting in archives.
Yes.
Demont did not pick up his archives at this point. So the threat is not necessarily immediate, but of course, at the same time, you could pick up the archives, go right into it, unless he can continue to use control of the weeks, which I think at this point we've seen one this game.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've seen a second.
We
Yeah,
have
so
only
he
seen
still
one.
has 3 available to him if needed,
I
that
don't.
could save that life ward for a while.
I don't think he has it right now, or maybe he has it in no supporting discards because then you only go to 4 amber
Yeah.
and you do gain 1 turn, but the Webster is then able to fight the charrette and go further down the deck for Damat. So maybe considering other options. Giving it a good thought, um,
Yeah.
as he obviously should in this finals, in this best of 3 series of the Final Refrain, where you could potentially win a flight to one of those great Voltours or KFC. So it's well worth to really think about your turns. And as Aaron points out in the chat, Floxamo, each of these turns is so critical for Joe. It is the decisions that Joe needs to make are not obvious, and there's probably 3, 4 different lines he can go. Chooses to go the logos line.
Yeah, again, it's that as we said, it's that threat of knowing that Bryo is in archives. So
Yeah.
it Random Joe knows when it's going to be coming, but at the same time he has to plan around it. And of course there's the life
Wow.
ward being
So
popped.
there's pretty much nothing that Damat can do, no actions or playing creatures because of the Scrambler Storm. And the Dust Imp coming down is also huge from the Wild Wormhole. Would have liked to go to check though, probably, but 2 Scrambler Storms gone. Life Ward popped. I think Joe drew 3 cards. Um, if one of those 3 cards is a control of the week, it is looking pretty good for a Random Joe. The mod goes into Geistoid. It drew 4 cards. It says draw 3 cards here. Yeah, 2 card guys. Yeah. So Webster fights into Charette to discard, uh, dig further through his own deck. Also getting information from Random Joe, finding Shark and Control the Weak in one of those 4 discards here. So we know there's only 2 Control the Weaks left in the deck somewhere, either in hand or in draw. We don't know where. But the Retro Technician Lees are now a bit more powerful on the mod's side. 1 Cowp is there. We know the Bryo is in archive, so that's a bit awkward for the Technician Lees if you don't have a discard pip. If they're in archives, you can bring them back with the Lees. But yeah, Random Joe in a good spot, I would say. Still, potentially 1 turn of mayhem next turn if you don't control the weak or get a life ward down at the same time, because then you can stall one more thing. Um, Another critical turn.
Yeah, very much so. And I believe, I mean, it's been a while, of course, since the Winds of Death came down. I believe Demont has one Retro Technician Lee in that archives as well. Um,
Yes, he does. Yeah.
yeah, so So we know at least one of those are in the archives. Um, could potentially, keep that play in mind of potentially utilizing some discard, just discarding from hand, now using the retro technician leads to start trying to build something up from there.
Is there any discard pip in Starlines that could get rid of your Brio from your hand? I'm not sure.
I don't see any
No, no,
off of this.
no. I don't think so. Yeah. Hmm. But still, indeed, you can discard your own leaves and then bring them back for a lot of amber. Um,
Yeah.
oh, Random Joe going crazy with the amber generation. Um, choosing shadows, nerve blast to steal one, ghostly hand to steal the other. Pawn sacrifice to killing Dust Imp and everything on the board. Going to 12 amber. Ouch. Big, 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 big turn. Um,
Yeah, but importantly there, Demont is not locked into a specific house at this point,
no,
and there it is. Goes in Unfathomable, picks up the archives. We're gonna see the Bryozart come down now.
the Brio and the Cow. Does he have a creature to protect it with? He's got two creatures to protect him with. And we did see the Shark being discarded. Um, so, yes, Joe is on 6 amber on check. Can probably find at least 1 amber pip and a creature. A Titan mechanic and something on Logos action might be good. And then it's up to Dama to really drag this one back. Very close. I would still favor Random Joe. There he
Yeah, he
goes.
went into
Yeah.
Dis as his active house, and I figured that was what was coming. Uses the Dance of Doom right after to get rid of the cop, and now Life Ward comes down, and there it goes. That
Ooh.
game two heading over to Random Joe.
So we got a 1-1 score here. Um, this is what the people want. More Keyforge, close, exciting games. I copied the logs. I'm also using an application that saves them automatically. So we're all good. Game 3 is underway.
And Demont's gonna go second,
So he
which
wants to deny maybe a Random Joe going second because he saw him choose it.
yeah, well, at this point, both times someone has gone second, they've come out victorious. So
Yeah.
right now, that is something to keep in mind. Is this game three is Random Joe has to break the cycle at this point, or
Yeah.
did Demont win the secondary game, which is going second, gives you the W.
Oof.
This is exciting, Tom.
Yeah, yeah, it is, it is. and this is what if the disruption lines up on Random Joe's side, it's very tricky to get your own lockdown going. And we see a deja vu control the weak Star Alliance to the mod, reminiscing of Game One. The mod then chose Star Alliance didn't do anything. This time is able to put a Retro Technician lead down. It's something, but it's not what you want. All the Amber Pips coming from Shadows now, probably.
Oh yeah,
So
already 4 amber generated off of all that.
this is looking very much like Game 1. Island of Misfit Toys with a Boo, with a lot of great Geistoid cards here. You would want the inner summers as well, I would imagine. But still, Be Our Guys, Boo, Phantasmal Visit, Albie Stray, and he does have the inner somewhere in hand. So what would you archive here? Maybe you Boo and Albie Stray. Now Boo and Spontaneous Awakening.
It
So you
depends on
can
what
do
is
it
the.
twice.
It's dependent. I would say it kind of depends on what he wants to go with his turn two here. If he feels like, okay, which is kind of what I was about to say. If he feels like he's going to go into Star Alliance, he might want to build up some Star Alliance in there
But
to cycle some card play, and
but
he
the
does
the,
end
the
up doing
guys don't look so good though. Like
that. You're right.
yeah.
You're right. It's enticing.
But maybe he's thinking, okay, I want to do that, but usually Random Joe lets me not do that. So Winds of Death here might be a lot stronger than just setting up your Geistoid to go crazy. So And indeed, Random Joe says, no, no, don't use cards, don't use actions. Skippy Time Oak and 2 Scramblers. Damod does put those to 3. Okay. Yeah.
Wow,
Uh-oh.
a fistful of unfathomable there,
Wow.
and still going.
Wow.
So this is where the collar comes into play again.
The collar
If
Dance of
if
Doom, that's
Random
what you
Joe
need.
has it,
The collar Dance of Doom would get rid of 1, 2, 3, and this, but the Retro Technician Lees, if he has them, they just come right back.
we know he has at least one Retro Technician Lee. I don't remember if he ended up getting a second one, but he has at least one in hand off
Yeah.
of the archive pull.
If he had 2, that would be really, really bad news. Even if Random Joe can wipe the board here. Yeah, there's only one action to be taken unless the collar is there and the Dance of Doom. This is Damod might be halfway to KFC this time.
Yeah, that was a brutal turn 3 for
Wow.
Random Joe to see come down. Definitely changes what probably Random Joe was looking to do coming here on turn 4.
You think double Scrambler Storm and a Skippy would be pretty annoying, but he's like, okay, well, sure, I'll just play all my creatures here. And what was archived from the Winds of Death? Only Kaup, and Squallmaster were archived from Winds of Death here.
Yeah.
So Bryo, Kaup, Mammoleech, Wicolia, and Immersioneer were in hand, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was like I said, it just was a fistful of unfathomable, even with pulling the archives. Like as
There was
you
no way to
mentioned, there's
expect this. This was not. It's expect the unexpected is only in next set, so people are not used to to it yet, right?
yeah. I mean, we gotta prepare for the prophecies, so
Yeah.
we're getting a glimpse of that here in this game.
This is Random Joe is looking at all angles to his cards: upside down, sideways, straight, from right to left, left to right. What do I have here? What can I do? Do I have a magic trick? I'm not sure. Other than Color and Dance of Doom, it's gonna
Well,
be. Oof.
and this is the tough part because I think outside of his logos, he does not have a lot of draw. So like
There is a
trying to
collar.
get into it, and there's the collar.
So one of those pieces were there. The collar is for Kaup and 3 Fates and a Dust Imp. So I think he was looking fairly confident, but didn't expect all of these things to come there. Um, yeah, Kaup is annoying, but uh,
The interesting choice for sure. Obviously, it limits what Demotte's
the
card
the
play
thing
can
is,
be.
yeah, if you color Subordination Bryo and then the mod just kills it with actions, brings it back with Retro Technician Lee, you're back where you started. So I
Yeah,
understand the Kaup might be quite a bit more annoying, especially since the mod is not haunted. Um, can fight off if yeah. So survey is action. Then Retro Technician Lee ready. Fight into the Kaup. If you did find another Retro Technician Lee, then you can put that there and get back the Lee again and the Kaup, and then it's back to square one. Um, so
it
did not
uses
have
another
that.
survey there.
Yeah, but still, Rogue Operation Stealing 2 from Random Joe. There is
Oh, we got
another.
his second retro technician off the rogue operation in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Wow. So
That's a
with the
big play.
first bringing back the second, and there you put the Kaup all the way on the right with the draw, I would imagine. Yeah. And now Random Joe has to figure out another way how to get rid of that. And this is the power, the disaster, the beauty, whatever you want to call it, of Bryo Kaup and Recursion. Yeah, not much to do here now. except for maybe cry a little. Um,
Yeah, this is a very tough spot to be in at this point.
it is, and of course you wanna think of all your options. I think there might still be a shark if he found it. You could get unlucky and only be able to wipe either a Brio or Ray Kalb. The thing is that even if you do wipe all three of them, because that's maximum probably what you can do, there's two Retro Technician Lees that just bring them back.
Yeah.
Or the Island of Misfit Toys that just brings back all the guys to it. And yeah, so Relentless Whispers, Amber Pip doesn't steal, discards Nerve Blast, discards Bane and Switch. Damat now probably gonna reap with Unfathomable. Might be a more optimal turn somewhere.
I would give him an additional 6 amber,
Uh,
just reaping
However, there's
off of
one,
Unfathomable.
two, three, four, five, 6 Amber Pips in Geistoid to be had, and setting up an archive of things you want.
Yeah.
There's another Webster here that can also reap. So pure Amber wise, Geistoid might be looking better. Um, I'm not sure if it's all relevant because this looks pretty locked. This game looks locked down for Damat, but still, you want to play it the most optimally you can.
Yeah, you don't want to. I mean, in general, as we said, the things are not looking great for Random Joe, but you don't want to give up too early because sometimes a lucky draw comes in, something happens, a misplay from your opponent that can help change things around. And so, of course, you're going up against the world champion in Alliance. You don't expect them
No.
to make very much mistakes, but
Playing
uh,
Winds of
you know,
Death, you can slip and play Winds of Death. It can happen, but yeah. So plays Boo on himself, discarding nothing because he was already through his deck.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is going to be the island next.
Yeah,
Yep, to
yeah,
get everything out. Now he knows he has everything when it comes to uh Geistoid and you know do more action, play more things, generate the amber that's
yeah.
necessary for these last 2 keys.
Indeed. And in here somewhere can archive maybe the rogue operations again, or some nasty stuff. Beer guys can even play
Ooh, we
Skippy.
took Skippy.
Um, yeah. So cards cannot be used on the board, even though there was just a dust imp, which is exhausted and stunned. Um, Bringing back a mix of cards seems fair. Beergeist and Rogue Operation, they can both be quite useful. Archive in there somewhere in Event Horizon, so there's a stacked archive here with a mix of star lines and Geistweight going to 11
Yep.
Ember.
And there's the discard of Winds of Death. Obviously, you knew that was going to happen, but of course there was the potential. We talked about it,
Yeah,
the misplay, if it was utilized on accident, but
yeah,
no need at this point.
no, no. And indeed, what they say, props for Random though to sticking it out, trying to figure out a way out of this seemingly hopeless situation. Calls logos, plays Kyo the Adventurer, Wild Wormhole to be cancelled by Brio, discard side the mechanic, discards Fogify, random Demand going back into Geistoid, playing his archived cards again, making a lot of Ember. Um, Using Skippy. Oh, plays Beer Geist on Skippy again. That's interesting. The damage pip might have killed it. That's funny. Um, yeah,
Yeah, we're now sitting at 9 amber towards that third and final key, and climbing. We're at 10 amber now. And I want to say, like the chat said, props to Random Joe for seeing this through, giving players and the viewers everything they came to
their
see,
time
which
to
was
shine.
these 3 games. And so good on him for following through.
Yeah, what is this? A strange gizmo that triggers instantly. And well played to Damat, the world champion, uh, taking the final refrain um, championship 2-1. Um, well played to both of them. But Damat being the victor here, proving why he is the world champion. And yeah, that's
Improving going second gives you the W.
yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, you're right. So that was a nice set of games. We got what we came for. Um, what's next now? First, we're probably trying to get an interview for the people at home with the winner, or maybe even also with Random Joe if he feels down for it. Orion, Aaron, if you're in the chat, you can let him know that he's welcome to join as well. I need to set up some logistics on the stream, obviously, so bear with us. But yeah, how did you like these games, Jeremy?
I mean, they were great games. Of course, as we saw here, we kind of knew both decks, in a sense, want to really control and stop the other person while bursting up the amber that is necessary to give themselves the win. And so we got to see exactly that. And it, knowing what both of these decks wanted to do, uh, I joked about it, of course, across the stream, but it was the going second became so important for both of them because it allowed them to then play enough cards to
Yeah,
get their engine going and also stopping their opponent. And so, of course, it became the coin flip, so to speak, on every game was who went second, because that turn two became so important. Even on the slower game, on game two, when we didn't see a lot of cards come out turn two, it still was setting up creatures on the board to start building what was going to be later, where Bryozark starts to come down if he came down early. And so that was kind of the thing that we saw throughout those games. And so credit, hats off to both of them for
yes,
well played games,
for
making it all the
sure.
way to the final table. And of course, hats off to Damat for winning another tournament.
Winning another one, and this one was as heavily contested as Worlds, I would say. So no small feat. Um, we're gonna get the rest of the cast of the Final Refrain, and so Riku will be joining us, Orion will be joining us, and I think we'll get Damat and Random Joe both on. Jeremy, this is your holiday time. You have a lot of things planned, so I want to thank you really honestly for showing up, showing the appreciation for the community hosted events, and again, really thankful for having you here. It was a great time co-casting with you. Now virtually, maybe in real life, if we get eliminated in one of the tournaments. So yeah, any final words, Jeremy, before you enjoy your time off?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you all for, of course, having me here. Of course, as always, it's been very appreciative how you guys have welcomed and accepted me within the community. Not just because, of course, I work for Ghost Galaxy, but again, having me here on streams like this, and then again, hats off to all of you guys for putting on tournaments like this, giving players additional options and avenues to be able to play the game they love, play it at higher levels, and of course, be able to, give some bragging rights within the community. Of course, it's always fun to see how you guys
Yeah,
do those
indeed.
things. So,
Yeah.
thank you for reaching out and having me a part of this. I was very happy to be here, and I hope you guys enjoy whatever comes next when it comes to the Final Refrain or any other community events, as well as some Ghost Galaxy events. We have some others coming
Yeah,
up for the
for
rest of the
sure,
year.
for sure. And we will be talking about it near the end of the stream. So stay tuned. Jeremy, thank you so much. And enjoy and see you around. And with that, I have some two other people here. Um, mainly, yeah, Riku
Hello.
and Aaron. I still need to load in Random Joe and Damat on the stream as well. So bear with us. While I do that, Riku, Aaron, give us a rundown of how you viewed this without casting and looking from the outside while I can get the technical side working. You might see some back and forth between screens, but trust me, I'm doing my best.
What do you think, Riku?
Uh, so yeah, that's a very interesting game. I I didn't think about they there will be after I see the first game. I totally thought that will be 2-0. So yeah, seeing how game two going in very different from what I expect is very interesting because I totally thought it didn't happen like I thought.
So you thought it was going to be? We could probably go see your prediction. You thought it was going to be a 2-0 for Damat, or what were you thinking?
I
I
need to switch screens real quick, guys. So give me 1 second.
okay.
I don't know if they can hear us or not.
They can
Are you
hear
back?
you again now. So I
Okay.
think I have now plugged in random Joe. I don't have a picture of you, and I'm not sure if there's a 4-player limit to our video ninja. But yeah,
We definitely did 5 for one of our other ones a while ago, I thought, right?
it could be. But random Joe, can you give us a test?
Test.
Test. I can hear you. Riku,
Yep.
Aaron, they can hear you. Can people at home hear you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I guess we'll just do a random Joe interview first, and then Damat later. You can hear Joe. Great.
Works for me.
Okay. So, Joe, thank you for joining. Runner up. It was looking very good game one. Give us your thoughts on what happened in game 2 and 3 different than in game 1.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me and thanks for hosting. I appreciate all the work all of you do to host this tournament. It was definitely fun to play. Like, there's not that many ways to play Serious Alliance Keyforge, and it was fun to get that opportunity. As far as the games, yeah, game one was definitely an outlier game in a couple different ways. Certainly, when I flipped the zero turn off the turn one control the weak star alliance, I felt pretty good. Um, uh, and then kind of like mid game, I was able to have a 5-card shadows turn that was pretty wonderful. It also, I was unusually stuck there at the end where
Yeah.
I both the 2 control the weeks were in the bottom 4, as
No.
well as the wild wormhole was also out. Otherwise, I would have had a 50-50 to hit it at least. So I was kind of in a situation where normally I should have won that game, but I both kind of got lucky at the beginning and then got kind of unlucky at the end. So it was just sort of an outlier game on that one. Game 2 was sort of, what my deck's supposed to do. Things went according to plan. Game 3 was an outlier, essentially a high roll for Demont. As I said in chat, like every so often, that deck, just plays Brio on turn 2 and you pretty much lose the game, and their draw was even better than that. So game 1 was certainly pretty interesting, and game 2 and 3 were more one-sided games.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Sorry. I was just going to say the cards that we were kind of expecting to be impactful in like some of those situations just didn't come at the right times. And I think that like you're kind of even saying that with your last round match too, where it's just like you kind of just have to play what you have. There's not nearly as much. There's still handcrafting, but there's not like the archiving or whatever. So if you have Shark and you have some good stuff to hit, you're just going to hit it. Or if you have the life ward down, you kind of just have to pop it. You can't always wait for sort of those opportune moments where those cards feel like they're going to be the most impactful.
Yeah, there's some nuance of so the caller and the life wards and the sharks seem more relevant than they are in some ways. Like during testing, like I experimented with, because the caller can often get you out of Brio Kaup situations.
True.
But like the problem is that once that deck has done it once, it's probably just going to do it again the next turn. And so it doesn't really help you to kind of be prepared to deal with it. So you kind of just play it as it goes. And in fact, I did game 1 make a mistake, I think, where I kind of got tempted. The turn where I took the Kaup was either a 3-card Shadows turn where I could kill the Kaup and move on, or the 3-card Dis turn that required me to 3 Fates 2 of my guys in order to set up the board with the Kaup. But I knew that it was possible. Like, it was a world where if he can just kill the Kaup, it's not that good. And if I had gone Shadows, my deck would have been much more optimized after that turn. And so I kind of took the bait there, and it ended up being definitely the wrong play in hindsight. I don't know if it would have changed the game, but that's one of those nuances of those cards that seem like they
Hindsight is
matter.
always 2020, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
But
and then
yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead, Joe. Finish your analysis of your game.
Yeah, I was trying to, in game 3 there was a nuanced moment to I guess yeah, like what to call her. It probably looked weird, but it's because my only out at that point was to shark and hit 2 things at once on that turn. And so and if I there's also a world though where I can shark once and hit the Brio and then positron bolt the Webster and the other Cowp. And so, but though that was like literally, I was just like playing to the one shark
and then the
draw
two
on that
Lees are
turn.
there,
Yeah, and then it didn't happen that turn, and then so I just like lost no matter what.
No, indeed, and I think the cow seemed the right way to try, because indeed, if you take the Brio, then he just kills it, brings it back, and it's all kinds of trouble. So great, you stuck it all the way through, and also very graceful of you to join as the runner-up interviewee, and you don't go empty-handed. You still win an Amber Sky sealed display. And I want once again to congratulate you on playing all the way through this tournament. Really tough matches on your side as well. Taking down 2 of the 3 Brio Cowps along your way.
Yeah. I was going to mention that you probably had the hardest road to get here.
Yeah.
And then you meet another one of those decks in the finals. Like, that's got to be brutal.
It's interesting. They're definitely among my worst matchups. Yeah. And the Ellie Mac one, had the big misplay. I'm not sure that it would have changed the game if things had gone differently based on my hand at the time. But like certainly it was a feel bad moment for Ellie Mac, and I definitely felt bad for them because they're a great player with a great deck as well. Certainly, feels like Brio Cowp could be on the reserved list just so they don't show up at the same time, because either card by itself is an entirely reasonable card. Even Brio, I think, is pretty fair.
Yeah.
I
It is what it is. It is what it is, And again, thank you so much. We want to give Damat his time to shine as well. Again, thank you so much for joining, and congratulations on making it all this way. See you maybe at some. We'll be participating in some Vault Tours, KFC. Where will people be able to face you?
Yeah, I'll be at Portland end of this month, and then depending on that, maybe I'll be in Vegas. Maybe I'll be at KFC.
Okay, well, cool. Good to know.
Good luck at those.
Thanks again, everybody. Congrats to Matt.
Thank you very much. Now I'm gonna plug in Damat. So give me 1 second. And I think we should have Damat. Damat, can you give us a small test? We don't have your camera, that's fine. If you can make some noise, we can see if it's working.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can the chat hear you as well? Double checking. I think we should be good.
Okay.
And Aaron or Riku, who wants to congratulate Damat here on his epic victory?
Both of us do. Go for Riku, was that a no?
Aaron, take it away.
No, huge congrats. This has been awesome tournament. Awesome to watch your deck play. I think, again, like we said, Joe probably had the hardest road, one of the hardest roads to get here, but you played against several matchups where like we really thought your deck was going to have a run for its money, especially like the Quixel Stones and stuff. And so like getting to see your deck, it just blows my mind how you built this deck that has this very, very strong kind of lockout, but you as a player can still play it to different win conditions to still win the games. And like we got to see that on display very much so in all of these matches. Like the amount of times that the Brio lock actually won you the game, I think might be less than half of the games you actually played in this tournament, which is crazy. So yeah, it just shows your skill both building and playing too. So huge congrats.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
Really, thank you.
Yeah, and Damad, you said you weren't very active, and but apparently active enough to take down the Final Refrain. And was it game one or game two that you won? I'm so hyped still that I don't remember. I think it was 1-0 for
1-0, then
you.
1-1, and then
Yeah.
2-1.
Yeah. So the game that you lost, let's say, what happened differently there?
I tested a lot this matchup after you say me to test it. And I saw that in this match, I think that my deck can win, but Joe's one can lose. I need a really good end in early game or really bad end for Joe. And this happened something like 30% of the time. So yeah, I think it's a 70-30 for him in this matchup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had luck.
Yeah, so then you defied the odds and you took the 30%,
Yeah.
and indeed, it can be very disruptive, huh? And your deck is not very dissimilar to Harm's deck, and I played the matchup as well. And I can see how Joe can be favored in this one, especially. But
Yeah.
you did manage to pull out the victory, and you won a flight to a GG Alliance event. How do you feel about that?
Um, I really, I really don't know what because I was sure, I was sure I wouldn't go to defend the title this year, but now it's different.
Nice.
That changes things. I mean, that'd be awesome to have you there to
Yeah.
defend it, especially since well, I guess we have the deck Ascension now, but like, I don't know, being able to defend it even with this, it'll be interesting to see if this, not with this deck, okay.
No,
Because it didn't really get hit too much by the
Maybe building something
but,
new, huh? Maybe it'll spark the Keyforge of flame again for you to build something crazy again.
Yeah, I had luck to build also this deck because I bought the Alliance pod for something like €7 on the market. Yeah, and I say, okay, this is really good. How can I improve it? And
crazy.
in this Alliance pod, I also have the Cope. So I said, oh, it's really nice to play with Lee and Cope, and so it's.
You heard it here first, people.
Really
Alliance is cheaper than Archon. €7
Yeah.
can get you the world title.
Exactly. The best idea to build an alliance deck is randomly buy a deck.
Okay. Crazy.
It's an amazing story.
Damad, congratulations. Stay in touch. We will connect you to the anonymous donor to sort out the things and see what plans you have and if they're realistic within the budget that we that we have for that. But great that you're here doing a small interview at the end, and congratulations one more time. You want to say something to your Italian fans, because I know there are quite a few in Italian. If you want, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
I didn't like these things that speak in Italian, so I think it's okay. Thank you for all the people that vote me in the semifinal. All Italian vote for 2-0 for me, so thank you.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Again, thank you. Enjoy your evening. It was a pleasure watching these games, and it was a pleasure having you in the tournament. And enjoy. Ciao.
Ciao tutti.
Ciao tutti. Well, there we have it, guys. Yeah, the champion, Damad.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean,
great. World champion defending his title in this TFR, and then maybe it leading to him defending it in Worlds. That's great.
I mean, this was kind of a big thing. Like, even when Riku started the Final Refrain, is kind of you wanted that Worlds experience, right? And sort of like to make sure you're bringing the best of the best, and kind of like, I think it was whether it was going to be a preview of Worlds or kind of an after Worlds thing. We'll kind of figure out what that looks like moving forward. But I mean, that's what we had. These were world caliber players. Damad being able to defend this title, just awesome, and great games. Awesome. It was so good.
Riku, go ahead.
About it, if you think about it, Ham is also a world champion, and he just in Seal, and he also win Final Reframe actual. So right now we have two world
Yeah, so
champion
Harm
winning.
won the sealed open, right? So kind of like a champion as well, correct?
Yeah,
So two
yeah.
champions of KFC winning TFR as well. So it wasn't luck. It's all skilled. Yeah, and leaning back to our predictions, I think it was a 2-1, right? So if we're announcing winners, I think Mandracore.
Mandracore.
Harm
tried.
Harm tried. Yeah, Harm still got
a good
second
run.
place. Second place for Harm, and I think Mandracore winning the predictions game here. So congratulations to those as well. And we're not done with winners yet, because we also still have a prediction raffle.
The totally not rigged prediction
Totally
raffles.
not rigged. Let me pull this up. So this spin will determine who gets the final prize of this tournament, the VM 2025 deck. So let's see. And again, if it's Aaron or me, we will spin
I can't win.
again.
I don't even get to guess because I have to put in the initial ones.
Gorlami.
Ooh, Gorlami.
And I thought I saw him in the chat maybe earlier. So Gorlami wins a VM 2025 deck. Please DM me so we can get that sorted as well. Again, Captain Gale's just 20 euros.
Snapped in.
You can't win twice, Captain Gale. You already paid me 20 to win that first.
I mean, it sounds like he made a Discord pseudonym anyways, just to guess more times.
Right,
so.
indeed.
Snapped in Dale. I love that.
Snapped in Dale, indeed. Okay, I've totally missed that joke when I right there. So, yeah, Gorlami, congratulations. Oh, that's the wrong thingy.
Oh, congrats, Mandracore.
You're Mandracore. Italian too.
2 Italian winners today.
Sending everything to Italians. Sending everything to Italy.
That means we can do bulk shipping, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. So
don't really ship
the prediction
tickets,
champion, Mandracore, congratulations. You have the crystal ball. Prophetic Visions will be your set. You're going to be doing absolutely amazing there because you can predict everything. But what's next for the final refrain? Riku, we did Archon. We did Alliance. What can we do? What will we do?
It will be an open from the team that we will do one more final reframe this year, and the plan is we will do adaptive next.
Adaptive. Hooray. Let's go. That's what the people want. That's what we're bringing to the people. So TFR adaptive, obviously working with the people that bring you Kagi. And we're talking to other people that are in the adaptive world. So hopefully this makes people happy. I see reactions in the chat. Sealed was a consideration, but it's just so much challenging to do sealed because you can't bring the graphics. You need new stuff every round. Adaptive is what the people want, and that's what the people will get. Aaron, excited?
I'm super excited. I think this does have its own challenges. When we're looking at the different options, sealed and adaptive have that thing of like bringing decks that are sort of going to be new to your opponent. Sealed, especially if we're doing deck highlights and stuff every week, it just like doesn't necessarily work that well. It doesn't stay sealed, right? Yeah. It just becomes like limited alliance or whatever. But adaptive is a format that I've loved since the dawn of Keyforge. Basically, that was my first competitive win, was an adaptive tournament. I've been doing Kagi for a long time. I love the crew that puts those on season after season. It's a very fun, very interesting format. We still need to figure out exactly how we're going to do the decks and everything, because it is a little bit tricky. And then the other thing to think through is how we're going to do the invites, right? Because this is not a GG event at the moment. So we'll be telling you, like Riku said, we'll be given more information as we kind of get it ironed out. But I think this is we're hitting the bases, right, of all of all of the favorite formats of Keyforge, I think, are.
I think so too, and indeed we have to figure out who gets an invite based on what criteria, because for Archon and Alliance it was a lot easier in a way, because we'll take the world champ, we'll take the top whatever of worlds, and we have like this pyramid. But for adaptive it's a lot more tricky, so we're gonna have to rely on other people and other events to help us craft this priority list and not make it look like we're biased towards something. But yeah,
we never look biased towards it.
we never look like we're rigging anything, right? As Snapped and Dale can attest to. But yeah, TFR Adaptive is next. It's not the only thing. There's stuff in the works. We can't talk about it. But stay tuned for hopefully more information soon. Maybe. Who knows? TFR Adapt is not the only thing that is in the works, but again, we like these kind of like, ooh, what could it be? Keep the hype up a little bit, and hopefully everything works out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're kind of getting towards the end of the tournament. We crowned the champion. The world champion was crowned the TFR champion. We got a lot of people winning prizes. There's only one more thing that we have planned for today. If you want to stick around, and we have some trivia here, excluding the finals. We're not that fast. Snoopy is fast and amazing, but he's not that fast. And even if he was, I'm not that fast. I can't put it in. So we still have some trivia. But Riku, do you want to do some? You want to say some words about the tournament before we dive into the trivia?
Yeah, for sure. That's a very it's a very long journey. If we think about it, we start from the very beginning with like just an idea, and then we have action, we build a team, and then we go into Alien. This time with Lock Sudo. Thank you for all of your effort to make it happen, to make the Alien as good as possible. It's even outdo the action tournament in my opinion. So yeah, really appreciate your effort, and all the participants and all the people who take part into the event, including the streamer and the audience and everyone. I really appreciate everyone for support the event and make it happen. So of course we will try our best to continue to make the next event better and better and better. That will be all.
Exactly. We will at some point we'll send out a feedback form to collect your feedback on what you think was great, how'd you like the challenger matches and all that kind of stuff, what we can do even better. Gorlami says, I heard I won something. Yes, you won a VM 2025 deck for voting. So I'm going to collect a list of all people that won something and then make the most efficient way of getting this to the people. Luckily, we have a lot of minions in different continents running around.
And your mod is brutal.
The mod is brutal. Yeah, I should tune it down.
People can't be excited on here.
But yeah, thanks, Riku.
Basically, what he's saying, Gorlami, is you'll get it at KFC. We're trying to do stuff faster, but it is. Yeah. It sounds like it's been kind of it's a lot.
Well, we'll see how it gets over the world. How it gets you, it will get there. And if it doesn't, then haunt us. You only did like 6. You lucky.
Should have weighted it for how many votes people
should have
actually
done that. But I also wanted to do whoever was still involved in the prediction, so I took the last round people that voted, and those were that round we do the raffle. So the trivia, it's limited to like 15 trivia, so it's not that long. Please stick around if you find it interesting. There are some nice questions, and yeah, let's just get to it. Which deck took the most turns? Excluding the finals. This is all excluding the finals, again.
It's gotta be Quixel, right?
It's gotta be.
I remember, was it
Yeah.
round 2 or whatever, looking
And
at the
I
stats,
think
it was
I
like a
named it.
46 turn.
I think I named it the Quixel Master in my sheet and in Snoopy's tool, but officially it's death by inanimate objects from JDG. So, Unfathomable says Quixel. You say Quixel. Yes, even though it was eliminated a round earlier. No, it was not. It went all the way to the semifinals. It was in the
semis, yeah.
Yeah, so Quixel Master takes that one. And which deck played the most cards?
I would say B.
Liquid Quest said also C. Yeah, B on this one. Hysterical Purger. It sounds reasonable. Sounds very reasonable. Let's see it. No! Carpe Diem. Harmed, you won something. Captain Gale. Hey, yeah, Liquid Quest C. No. Yeah. And which deck played the most cards not in their deck? So, Mafioso and Carpe Diem do that with BR Geist. How does the Generous Dad do that again?
Is it with
Talent?
No, not Snacklifter. Merkins.
Merkins, right.
Might be another one too. I'm trying to remember. I know there's at least Merkins.
Maybe A.
A? Also A, Captain Gil A, Riku A.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's a lot of BR Geisting Infernuses.
Yeah, indeed. And which deck generated the most amber? Unfathomable got it right. Liquid Squash, you're not doing so fly at the moment. Keep guessing. I know this one you'll get it. Most amber.
B. I don't know.
Quixel Master got a lot of how much amber to get taken away and then added again. So it must depend on your opponent. Captain Gil says B. I'm waiting for Liquid Squash.
I would say
to pick the other one.
I would say B on this one too, I think.
B, Liquid Squash, please, something.
C.
No! All wrong.
Wait, that's the wrong highlight.
Is it? Oh, it's right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's B.
B was technically correct. Now you're trying to mess us all up. See, Liquid Squash was still wrong. Nothing
is rigged here.
What's important is that I was right.
You were right.
Captain Gale was still
right. Wrong. How many of them can we get wrong for Liquid Squash? Okay, which deck generated the most amber from the play effects of key cheats? Speedy Abduction, Leaping Frog, or the one that returns cards? Hey, don't take away
I don't really remember which deck is which one, but I think B.
B is a good guess. There was the double.
No, I remember B, but I don't remember A and C.
Unfathomable goes for
the
A.
double Data Forge turn was
had
to count for a lot for the Leaping Frog.
But Grishhammer says it's rigged. No, it's not rigged. A. I think you must be right, and it is. With 94 on 10.
Wow, that is so many.
Wow, that is crazy. Wow. Which deck stole the most amber? Also, trick question, Keyfrog doesn't have a play effect. Well, there's Data Forge and what's the other one in there? Honor's Keysis. So, hey, it's not just the Keyfrog. And which deck stole the most amber?
I think A.
I think it's B.
Is there any stealing in Quixel Master? I don't know.
Quixel Master does with the Mind Fires.
We go for C. Oh no, Liquid Squash also has C. Oh, you must be wrong.
It's B.
Yeah.
Those Rogops did so much.
It's B. Keep going for C. At one time, it must be right.
Yeah.
Which house had the highest win rate? This one. This one you must get right, Liquid Squash. Come on, I believe.
Stallion. B.
B for Rico.
Starlines is a pretty good call, I think.
B. I'm waiting for Liquid Squash. I believe. Sending good vibes. Come on.
He says C.
Let's go! We did it.
Got one. All right, everybody. We're done for today.
We got one.
See y'all next year.
Yeah. Which pot purged the most cards per turn? Well, the name would suggest.
Okay, B.
It's gotta be, right? It's gotta be B. Gotta be B. Gotta be B. Everyone says B.
I think it. Oh,
Oh, oh, you were gonna say something else.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about Carpe Diem just because it stole
Hysterical
the
Purger.
hysteria a lot, and it's got the.
This one's also nice.
Well.
Which card returned the most cards to hand per account?
I wish it was Duma. I
You
would
wish
have
it
loved
was
to see
Duma?
that combo go off more. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're voting A.
No, I said I wish it was Duma, not
Okay,
that
so
it was
what-
Duma.
Liquid Cross says C. Will of Memory.
I think I'll say B.
B.
I say B as well. B, yeah.
Duma the returned.
Really?
Per
Really?
account, eh? Per account. So you should read the question. There was only one Duma, and it returned 30 cards. There were a lot more Well of Memories. And if you divide all the cards that were returned back from Well of Memory then it's 18.6. Yeah.
I just
Okay, the
feel like
question is very
Snoopy
confusing.
is trying to trick me.
Yeah, of course he is. That's the beauty of it, because we're rigging everything here. Which card played the most cards per account? Which card played the most cards per account? Dang.
Bialgis is
Be our geese, yeah, as a spelling mistake, but that's fine. At least the questions are readable this time. It's not like a paragraph in itself. Oh boy.
maybe C. I have the feeling that the B E have a spelling mistake as well, but I have no expert in math
Oh,
language.
Liquid Squash went for A this time. Captain Gale C. So you're saying B? Should have stuck with C. So near future lands gets played the most cards per account. That's surprising a little bit. I would expect beer guys to play a lot more often, but
There's just a lot of copies of it.
yeah, and a lot of copies that didn't get far in the tournament, I guess. Which of these cards drew the most cards per account? Punctuated, Time Traveler, or Waking Nightmare?
B.
B. I think there
It's
were
Waking
more Time
Nightmare.
Travelers in the tournament. I think there was maybe only one Waking Nightmare, so that might give it an edge.
It's got to be C.
Gotta be C. Gotta be C. C. Infamo. Yeah. C. 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 Liquid Squash. Come on. Captain Gills SC.
It's a B, I think.
Waking Nightmare. C. There you go.
The only card on here that doesn't actually draw cards naturally.
Yeah. That is interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Which of these cards archive the most cards per count? Autoencoder, Quantum Compass, or Winds of Death?
A.
Yeah, it's probably a similar reason. Actually, were there two
No,
autoencoder decks?
I think only one. I only remember CDG playing one.
It is. Liquid Squash goes for A. Wins, or is that maybe the previous one still? B. A. Gorlami had 1, 2. It is Autoencoder. Indeed. Yeah. Autoencoder is good at archiving cards. Which card was played the most? And this is the almost one of the last questions. So I think there's like maybe one more after this one, or two. I don't remember. Which card was played the most?
B.
Yeah, in here somewhere, right? And I don't think the finals changed anything there.
Yeah.
Let's see if we're right. What?
I think last week it was in here somewhere, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it must have
before
changed the
round.
boost.
So Boo has been played a lot. Yeah. Okay, Boo was played a lot. There's 2 Boos in the mod stack as well. So Boo. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now we do have a wall of text. And this is really the last question.
Very long question. I'm trying to read the question.
Which stat proved the most predictive of which deck would make the finals? That is, in which stat were the 2 finalists closest to the top of the rankings of the original 32 decks? So, in other words, what does the deck need to do well to make it to the finals? And that can be expressed in a couple of stats. So it could be the fastest first key can be a predictor, highest check percentage, Lowest pick rate variance are always going to the same house. Most actions, most amber generated per turn, or most stolen amber per turn. So of course, everyone after this will know how to build their deck to optimize one of those stats, right? So have a good thought. What do you think was the main denominator of these two decks? It says most actions, highest check percentage, says Captain Gill. So lowest pick rate variance is picking all pots more evenly. Okay, sorry, Snoopy. So it's the inverse of
Is
what
it
I said.
C meaning?
Sorry?
Oh yeah. Or between. Oh, okay. No. I don't. I thought low with victory variant is that you only to one
No.
house.
So lowest is more evenly spread. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
So we have a
think.
couple of people with highest check percentage and most actions on some.
Oh, it's only one stat that we're looking at, huh?
Yeah, but we'll get
Lowest.
a rundown of the others, how they ranked up for those decks as well. So which one was the most predictive? I'll give you a couple more seconds to think about it, then you need to lock it in. 3,
I think
2,
it's
the
C.
I think.
C and A. Dun dun dun. Most stolen
That
amber.
was the second one I was thinking of.
Because Damat and Random Joe steal a lot of amber. So people, you're building an alliance, you need to steal amber. Because that's the only conclusion you can draw from this, right? Right? That's how statistics work.
I mean, we did see some red lines and stuff earlier, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And those
That's
didn't
true.
quite make it, but that's not per turn. That's one big turn of stealing.
But for both finalists, for fastest first key, they were both in the top 8. And highest check also in the top 7 even. Lowest pick rate variance top 9. Most actions top 7. Amber generation apparently not that super relevant, but most stolen amber, yeah. So stealing needs to be on the restricted list, Snoopy says. Oh boy. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the Final Refrain Alliance. Technically, there's one challenger match that still needs to be played and you can watch. And that is still to be scheduled. But for all intents and purposes, this is the end of the Final Refrain Alliance. I had a blast doing it, but to be honest, it was also exhausting at some points. Always getting the recaps, always getting the things, always. So I'm glad to have a little bit of a break. Riku, I can relate to how you feel with the Archon tournament now. But I think we brought some awesome coverage to people that love Keyforge, and we built a nice repository of videos that people can watch back. And yeah, happy that we did it. Also got Jeremy in the stream at the end, so really glad we got that opportunity as well. Special thanks to Snoopy, and as I mentioned that he says he also needs a break. So much work went into that, and we cannot thank you enough for that as well. I want to give Riku some final words, and then Aaron, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So Riku, some final words for the Final Refrain again.
Yeah, I will just say that thank everyone for support the event, for being the part of us, and then we will do the next one soon.
Yes.
Soonish, yeah.
Soonish, to be determined. Aaron, your final words.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks to everyone who's been watching. Thanks to all the players. Everyone always being really good sports and everything, even though it is a brutal tournament, right? There's been some awesome stuff. Lots of variety in this tournament too. It was really cool to see. And then, I mean, the biggest thanks to you both, Tom. I know especially you did so much work this round. I'm just glad I get to be part of it. But yeah, it's been awesome, and huge congrats again to Damat for the win and Random Joe for the second. It was awesome to watch their journeys here.
Indeed. And with that, we will wrap it up. We'll put the VOD online soon. Thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, keep playing Keyforge, and hopefully see you in one of those tournaments if you match the qualifications for them, or as a watcher or predictor. You can win anything regardless. So thanks again. See you all later. Bye.
Bye-bye.